Hi guys, so I'm just making this quick video because one of my customers noticed a problem with the Fantasy RPG Mini pack. That's this one over here. It's the mini version of the Fantasy RPG game. So the customer is named Dan, and he ran into an issue when he was trying to package this project. I believe the problem is caused by a certain button in the save game widget. So I'm gonna open up that widget and we're gonna have a look at it. He actually noticed this and sent me an email. So we're just gonna have a quick look at that save game widget. This one right here, attributes and save game. So you can see that there's a warning on the compile button right there. So if we click on that warning, it says this unclicked save game button. It doesn't have a valid matching component. Okay. So originally Dan asked me if it's because it's not connected. That's not really the reason why. The reason is because this is actually not in use at all. This had a problem, so I had to create a new function over here, and unfortunately I forgot to delete this old one, and it still got the error there. Okay, so the reason this error is appearing is because this button and this button are actually the same thing. Okay, so it's let me just show you here in the design window, in the designer. Yeah, that's the designer there. That's all coming from this button here. Okay, button 114. So if we check exactly what this button is doing when it's clicked, so unclicked, let's view that. It comes out to this function, the save game function. Okay, this no longer has a function because we're using this one now. All right, just the same way we clicked here and we're able to view it here, we're using this one now, so this has no function. That's why we're getting that compile error, because we've got a button which doesn't know what it's supposed to be doing or what it's connected to. So the way we fix that problem, like I said, he failed to package the program, to package the project so that it could be launched as an actual game with an executable file. So if we just go ahead and delete this whole section and hit compile, that error is gone and the problem is solved. That's all you actually have to do. So I'm pretty sure Dan probably didn't want to try and delete that because it might lead to a whole bunch of other errors, but don't worry, it won't lead to any more errors. The function is over here and it works correctly. Okay, so now if we go ahead and save that and close that off, and as you can see, we can hit play. We've got no errors. There's no problems anyway. We can play the game. Yeah, so now if we just hit play and start a new game, everything should work correctly. There's no errors, as you can tell. Or maybe you can't tell, but we haven't gotten any errors starting that up. I'm just gonna kill a few zombies so that I can gain some XP and upgrade my health and my stamina, and maybe change the outfit just to see if everything is working correctly, if everything's saving correctly after we deleted what we've deleted. But I do believe everything should be working correctly now, because the function we deleted actually has no work. It has no function. So if I hit F here and upgrade my health, upgrade my stamina, hit save and continue, it should have saved everything now. So I'm gonna cancel out of the game. I'm gonna hit play again, and I'm gonna hit the continue button, and as you can see, everything works correctly. All right, my health has been leveled up, my stamina is leveled up, and the costume is what I changed. So everything has saved out correctly, right? And I'm pretty sure if we look at our output log, we get no errors or no game breaking errors. I think probably no errors at all. So yeah, our output log is clean. Okay, so that's how you can solve that problem of that error. Just to make sure everything is working correctly, I'm just gonna try and package this. I'll package it for Windows 64-bit, and I'll create a new folder, and let's say packaged Mini RPG, and I'll select that folder, and we'll give it a few minutes, and it's gonna package everything. Yeah, so as you can see here, we've successfully built the package. So we can just go over to our RPG Mini executable file here and run that. And yeah, as you can see, everything is now in working order. So that's how you can quickly take care of that problem. I'm pretty sure in a future update I'll have it completely sorted out. Okay, so we'll move on to another question which Dan asked. Okay, so yeah, now we're moving on to the second part of the video. Dan also asked how he could add a menu, the start menu, during gameplay. So as you can see, we've got the menu here when we immediately start the game, but something I overlooked was we don't have a menu while playing. So I can't press like escape or pause and then go through the options, change the graphics and stuff like that. So I'm gonna show you guys how you can quickly implement a new menu for when you're playing the game. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to add a button for the menu. Okay, so right now it's kind of inconvenient to put escape as the menu button while we're playing, because if I hit escape, it's gonna exit the game. Okay, so we're just gonna use a different button. We're gonna use the button M for menu. So I'm gonna go to the project settings, and I'm gonna go to my inputs. Under action mappings, I'm gonna add a new input, and I'm gonna call I'm gonna call it open menu. Okay, and I'm gonna bind it to the button M. So yeah, I've chosen M there. It automatically saves everything, so we can just close this. And we have to decide exactly where we're going to put this button, if we're going to put it in the character blueprint or maybe on the level or something like that. But I think the most convenient right now is to put it in the character blueprint. You can put it wherever you want. You could put it in the level, you could create a new blueprint just for the menu, but I'm going to put it here. So under all the functions of the character, I'm going to just put it underneath here, under the show controls function. So I'm gonna call that input. I'm gonna say open menu. So that's that new input we created. And when it's pressed, the first thing I want it to do is to create a new widget. Okay. We probably want to create a separate widget from the one we use on the start menu. But before we create a separate one, I'll just duplicate it. Let's find the start menu widget. I'm gonna duplicate this and name it to menu. It would just be menu. Okay. I'm gonna save that. And before I look at anything in here, because I think it will have to look a little bit different, but before I touch anything in here, I'm just going to connect it and see if everything will function correctly. I'll compile that for a second. This needs a class. That's that new menu we created, so it's already selected in the content browser, so I just have to click this button. If it wasn't selected, I would have to look for it by clicking the drop down menu, and then menu widget 1. Yeah, so I'm gonna put this onto the viewport, so I'll just click the return value and say add to viewport. Add to viewport. That's hooked up. We're not gonna get an error anymore if we hit compile. Yeah, and then the other thing I want to do is I want the mouse to show up. Okay, so I'm gonna drag here and I'm gonna say set mouse cursor. So it's not gonna come up because context sensitive is checked, so I'm gonna uncheck this so that I can see it. Set show mouse cursor. I'm gonna set it to true. Okay, the target is going to be the player controller. I'm gonna say get player controller. It should be somewhere down here. Context sensitive is off, that's why it's taking long for us to find it. So we'll switch that back on and we click that. We'll compile that. And the other thing is I don't want the player to be able to move while the menu is on. Maybe you would like the player to be able to move, but I'm gonna turn that off. So I'm gonna say disable movement, rather disable input. So this is not gonna disable the input for the mouse, it's just gonna disable the input for our blueprints because the target is self. Okay. And when I resume playing, I would like to be able to enable the input again. So under the return value, I'm gonna get the continue button. Get the continue button, and when the continue button is pressed, we'll bind that to a custom event. So I'll type pressed in here and I'll assign on pressed. So this is called on pressed event. We could call it enable input. And when that event fires, what's going to happen is our input is going to be enabled. So I'll drag here and I'll type enable input. Target is self. And I'm going to connect this just over here. Okay. So this will only fire when the continue button is pressed. We'll compile that and I'll save everything. Now hit the play button. So now if I'm playing the game and I press the M button and press M, our menu comes up, and here we can either continue or we can have a new game. So actually this is what I was saying, we're gonna have to change a few things, because if I press continue, it's gonna load from where I was before, as you can see. All right, and if I press new game, it's just gonna continue. Okay, but my input is still disabled, so I need to switch things around a little bit because they haven't been set up properly right now. So we're gonna exit the game and we're gonna go back. And we're going to say, instead of the continue button, we'll use the new game button. But it shouldn't be called new game because we're not starting a new game, we're just continuing, we're just resuming from where we've left off. So I'm gonna go back to this menu widget. I'm gonna change a few things. First thing I wanna change is, instead of this being called new game, I'm gonna change this to, let's say resume game. If we can spell that correctly. resume game. And the continue button, I'm gonna call it load last save. Okay, it's a little bit big. Last saved game. And load last saved game is a little bit big, so I'm gonna change the font size to something a bit smaller. It's not gonna look that smart because we'll have like different sized fonts, but we can take care of the UI later on, and you know, you can make it look like whatever you want. I'm gonna set it to size 15. And resume game, I think it's fine just now. It's almost overlapping, but it's okay for what we're doing right now. So now this is a continue button. I'm gonna call it the same thing we've written here. Oh, I'm just gonna call it load game, if I could spell that correctly. Okay, that's called load game now. And then new game, I'm gonna call it resume game. Have that underscore there. We probably don't actually need the underscore. Okay, we're gonna compile that and save it back to the warrior blueprint. So now, instead of getting, this has changed to load game, but instead of getting load game, we're gonna get resume game, and we're gonna connect that, and we're gonna get rid of the load game. I'm gonna save that out. So now if we press play, our start menu is still the same as it was before. We can just say continue this time, and if I press M and get rid of these guys, and that one too. No, never mind, let's just make some distance. Yeah, if I press M, the game doesn't pause, the input just gets disabled. If I hit resume game, we go back to the game. And if I press M again, if I hit load last save game, it's gonna load. As you can see, it's loaded everything, but the input is still disabled. That means pressing that button doesn't re-enable the input. So I'm gonna cancel that, and I'm going to add it again, and I'm gonna get load game, and I'm gonna bind it. Okay, we're gonna have both of them bind it to enable input. So now everything should work correctly, whether I load game or I resume game. So if I load game, that works. And one thing I need you guys to know is Unreal has a problem of if you bring up a menu and you click a button once, it's not gonna work. You have to click it twice. Okay, so that's an issue with Unreal Engine. There's a way to solve it. I just don't remember what it is. You probably have to lock what's it called? Let me just check so that I make sure I'm not telling you guys a lie. If we come into the level blueprint and we create the menu, we disable the input, show the mouse cursor, and process everything. There is a button that lets you focus on the widget that you've opened. Now let's try and see if that button is there. Open character customization, create widget, add to viewport, this one here. Okay, so if you don't want to click the mouse twice in order to get whatever function you want to happen, after after you've created your widget, you need to add this set input mode game and UI. Okay, so if I just copy this and add it to what we created here, so I'm gonna add it somewhere over here. Okay, I'm gonna connect it, and we're gonna have to choose which widget we want to focus on. So that's the menu widget which we just created, and then we're gonna use the player controller as a controller. I'm gonna compile that. I think everything is okay. If I hit play now, new game or continue, whatever you like. So now if I open the menu, I only have to press the button once. Okay. I'll open the menu again, I only have to press the button once. Yeah. So if you don't have that there, okay, if you don't have that focus node, then you're gonna have to press the button twice for it to know which widget it's supposed to focus on, because there can be multiple widgets on screen at the same time. You could have your health bar, you could have your custom character menu there, you could have a whole bunch of other things, and it won't know what to focus on. But if you set it to focus, set to focus on this widget which we created, then it will focus on that widget. So yeah, basically that's how you can add a menu to your gameplay. So yeah, I think that just about covers everything I wanted to look at today. We've solved the problem of failing to package the product. I'm sorry for missing that, but I'll try and put a fixed version in a future update. And yeah, it's not very complicated. If there's no update live by the time you're watching this video, you can do it just the way I showed you at the beginning of the video. And for those who want the menu to be there while playing, probably everybody wants that. So this is how you can add your menu. You just add a button to the inputs, you create your widget, you add it to the viewport, you set the focus on that same menu, the input to focus on that same menu, and then yeah, if you want to disable the input, you can go ahead and disable the input. You can re-enable it through this custom event depending on which button is pressed. And yeah, I don't think we spent more than 20 minutes trying to do all of this. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and continue showing your support. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.